Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. The Senate engages various stakeholders to address the controversial grey areas in the Constitution. The Nigerian Bar Association asks Nigerians to buy into the anti-corruption war of the current administration. Nigerian troops arrest a Boko Haram ringleader in Yobe and free hostages being held captive by the terrorist group. And police investigating the murder of the British Member of Parliament, Joe Cox, are highlighting the suspect's possible links to right-wing extremism. Just a quick reminder that all our top stories are on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. And do visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. And we encourage you to use the Eyewitness feature in the Channels TV app. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the app on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu and follow the instructions.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
We can now share with you some of those pictures I was talking about sent to our portal. And the first one is from Bonny Island in River State. It shows a dilapidated school building. Our Eyewitness reporter wants the government to fix it. The next one was sent in from Isiala, South Local Government Area of Abia State, and it shows another school in dire need of a facelift. And here's one from Kano State. It shows an overloaded vehicle. Our Eyewitness reporter wants men of the Federal Road Safety Corps to apprehend traffic offenders. And this photo shows the impact of erosion on the road in Osun State. Our Eyewitness reporter wants the government to repair it. And let's end with this one from Akute Alagbule area of Ogun State. And it shows a bad road, and our Eyewitness reporter is calling on state authorities to fix it. Thanks a lot for all your pictures. Do send us some more. Troops of Sector 5 of the 27th Task Force Brigade, 3 Division of the Nigerian Army, have arrested a suspected Boko Haram terrorist identified as Ibrahim Jawal at Gishwa Dabwa area of Potiskum, Yobe State. The suspected terrorist, who turned out to be the Amir of Boko Haram terrorists, also led the team to Garajin Audu area, where another terrorist suspect, Audu Ahmadu, was arrested. Meanwhile, the troops of 156 Task Force Battalion carried out clearance operations at a forest in Borno State, and the team engaged suspected terrorists who fled due to the troops' superior firepower. The troops pursued the terrorists and rescued 7 men, 13 women and 27 children who were held hostage at Gemri village. We move on now, and humanitarian aid has come to 28,000 internally displaced persons in Bama Local Council of Borno State, northeast Nigeria. 1,200 malnourished children and sick adults from the area have also been evacuated to Maiduguri, the state capital, for treatment.
Settlement of internally displaced people in their ancestral homes has begun, but some of them are still living in makeshift camps across Borno State. An example is Bama Local Council of the state. Though help has come from the government, humanitarian organizations and individuals, the need is still great, and IDPs are asking for an improved feeding situation. It seems all of that is set to change with more concerted efforts from donating bodies and concerned individuals who have brought in trailer loads of food and other essential commodities.
The food is not sufficient and there are no condiments. Sometimes we just eat boiled rice with salt. We want more food and we need the government to provide condiments.
The Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima, while thanking those who have donated to make the life of IDPs more comfortable, urges capable Borno indigents to do likewise.
The European Union and the GP for efforts that they have been expending towards addressing some of the challenges that are confronting us here in Borno. But we single out Dangote for special mention because we have sons and daughters of Borno who are in a position to impact positively on the lives of our people, people that are boasting of contributing 40 billion naira to a political party but cannot contribute 50,000 naira to people in distress within their own communities.
With relative peace returning to the northeast of the country, settlements have opened up for more humanitarian outreach.
With places like Bama, Dikwa, Dambua opening up and enabling us to have access, we felt that this was a good chance to come and reach the IDPs in Bama with the so much needed humanitarian assistance.
Last week we distributed it to over 2,400 households, which is about 28,000 individuals, and today we are giving them another package which will keep them up to the next 2 months.
And now that camp has returned to areas that once boiled with conflict, indigents are pleading for more assistance to get back to complete normalcy.
Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Gloria Umezuke. Gloria.
Hello, Ijoma. Good to see you and welcome to Abuja, the nation's capital. It appears the leadership crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party may soon be over. This follows the intervention of the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Solomon Arase, who announced in a statement that the two factions in the dispute have agreed to hold talks aimed at resolving their differences. At a meeting brokered by the police boss in his office in Abuja, both Senator Ali Modu Sheriff and Senator Ahmed Makafi-led factions agreed to nominate 4 representatives each for talks to end the tussle within 1 week. Pending the outcome of the dialogue, the PDP Secretariat at the Wadata House Plaza and Legacy House is to remain under lock and key. At the meeting said also to have been attended by the Director General of the Department of State Services, Mr. Lawal Daura, Mr. Arase called for peace among the parties, particularly Senators Sheriff and Makafi. Oil production in Nigeria has diminished significantly in recent weeks, owing largely to the activities of the Niger Delta Avengers. The militant group has claimed responsibility for a series of attacks on oil installations. The federal government has chosen to dialogue with the militants as a means to ending the violence in the oil-rich region. At the sideline of the legislative event in Lagos, some federal lawmakers speak to Channels Television on the strategies the federal government plans to implement.
See, we've gone through this road before. We tried this military approach. It didn't help us. And so, late Yaradua means so rest in peace, came up with the brilliant idea of amnesty, which worked for us. But somehow in the implementation, I figured that government relaxed. They didn't take it serious. And so these guys started building up arms, and nobody was monitoring that. And now we have this on us again. So I believe that it's not something that military option will deal with. We need to engage them once more.
Very much. Once again, if you look at the Constitution, we have 13% derivatives. I think for the first time, and I've been careful, the 13% that is due to the Niger Delta must be well appropriated. Because if you go to that section of Nigeria, it's thoroughly underdeveloped. And I keep telling people, we found oil in Olebiri in 1956, and we started commercial exploitation of oil in 1958. Close to 60 years after, if you go to that region, you feel sorry for them, either by act of omission or commission of those who have administered that environment or from the center. So what I will advise government to do now is to call peace.
At a time when militant activities in the Niger Delta are disrupting gas supply for power generation, the Japanese government is urging Nigeria to focus on renewable energy for the provision of electricity. The leader of a Japanese delegation to Nigeria, Mr. Shinichi Kitakao, said the advice when his team inspected a solar power facility built by the Japanese government to aid water supply in Abuja the nation's capital. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing has taken up the challenge and promised to embark on similar projects to boost electricity supply across the country.
This solar power project, when completed, will provide electricity for the Lower Usman Dam and ease water supply around the Federal Capital Territory. The Director General of the FCT Water Board says the project will help save cost and eliminate challenges of poor power supply, which the agency has grappled with over the years.
We used to have a power outage during the daytime, which we have to switch on to genset. Now we conserve that instead of using the genset, we are going to decide when we have such a problem in the night, we switch on to our generator. So it will reduce the cost of buying the diesel.
Meanwhile, the leader of the Japanese delegation, after a tour of the facility with his team, urges the federal government to invest in renewable energy to provide stable electricity supply and encourage industrialization in the country.
Recently, Nigeria has been suffering from the drop of oil price. Therefore, it's very right for Nigerian government to seek for diversification of resources. And in order to do that, agriculture is necessary. Also, industries should be promoted. And we are going to discuss all these kind of things in Nairobi, Kenya, in August.
The Ministry of Power, Works and Housing assures the Japanese delegation that the Nigerian government will embark on similar projects for increased power supply across the country.
We are hoping to use this as a form of energy mix, and that's why renewable energy becomes handy. We have a lot of sunlight in the north, we have a lot of hydro in the middle belt, and so that we can also have securitization of power supply so that our eggs are not put in this one basket. We can always get alternative, and that's why this project is very important to demonstrate that it is a doable project in Nigeria, that people can come and invest in Nigeria in this, in the north, to be able to get power supply, and then to bring us to that level whereby we now move to the sustainable type.
Apart from ensuring stable electricity supply, experts here agree that this huge solar power project embarked upon by the Japanese government is a demonstration that investing in renewable energy sources is both sustainable and safe for the environment.
When the news at 10 returns, Nigeria's equities market soars to new highs ahead of the takeoff of new forex reforms. But that's in business news. Once again.